Hello friends, today we go back to the year 1945, a day that started like any normal military training day, but slowly turned into one of the greatest aviation mysteries ever recorded.
5 aircraft mysteriously disappeared.
It was the 5th of December. The afternoon clock had just passed 2:10 p.m. when 5 US Navy torpedo bomber aircraft lifted off from a Florida airbase for a routine training mission known as Flight 19, a simple 3-hour exercise that pilots performed regularly. On board were 14 crew members, all under the leadership of an experienced war veteran, Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor. The aircraft moved east from Florida. The weather was clear, the sky looked calm, and everything seemed completely normal. But nearly 2 hours after takeoff, something unexpected began to unfold. Taylor radioed in saying that their compass had stopped working. They tried the backup compass, but that too began to malfunction, showing wrong direction readings, leaving them unsure of their actual position. When they contacted the other pilots, they discovered the same issue. Every aircraft's navigation instruments were acting strangely, giving readings that made no sense. Confusion built in the air, and Taylor began sending a series of unclear and conflicting radio messages while the weather started to turn rough, clouds gathering, visibility dropping, the situation getting more difficult with every passing minute. By around 4:56 p.m., Taylor believed they had drifted into the Gulf of Mexico and instructed the squadron to fly east to return to Florida. But some pilots disagreed, feeling they were already east of Florida and should instead fly west. This disagreement added even more confusion as the storm intensified. The sun went down and the night sky swallowed the last bits of light. Experts later estimated that by this time, the aircraft were actually around 370 kilometers east of Florida, far off course. At exactly 7:04 p.m., Taylor's final radio transmission was received, and after that, all 5 aircraft disappeared without leaving a single trace. No debris, no wreckage, no bodies, nothing. Shortly after Flight 19 went missing, a rescue aircraft carrying 13 crew members took off to search for them. But shockingly, this rescue plane also vanished, adding another layer of mystery. One of the largest search operations of that era was launched. Air and sea units scanned the ocean for days, but nothing was ever found. 2 flights, 27 men, and not a single clue. The region where all of this happened is the area we know today as the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is infamous for being one of the most mysterious regions of the Atlantic Ocean. Over the years, more than 100 ships and many aircraft have disappeared here without explanation. The triangle spans nearly 500,000 square miles between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. Stories around this area date back over 5 centuries, beginning with Christopher Columbus in 1492, who reported strange behavior in his compass while passing through this region, and one night saw a glowing fiery object fall from the sky into the ocean. These early reports planted the first seeds of mystery. Over the following centuries, the area earned chilling nicknames like the Graveyard of the Atlantic, the Sea of Doom, and the Sargasso Graveyard. But the term Bermuda Triangle appeared publicly for the first time in 1964, when writer Vincent Gaddis published an article connecting several disappearances and suggesting something unusual was happening in this part of the ocean. The article became extremely popular, and soon the Bermuda Triangle grew into a global mystery, inspiring books, documentaries, movies, songs, and countless theories. One of the most unsettling cases linked to this region is the disappearance of the USS Cyclops in 1918, one of the largest vessels in the US Navy at that time. On March 4th, the Cyclops began its journey carrying 306 people and more than 11,000 tons of manganese. Everything seemed normal when it departed. The weather was clear, the route was standard, but the last message sent from the ship became its final communication. After that, the ship simply vanished. No SOS call, no wreckage, not a single trace. For a vessel of that size to disappear completely left the world stunned. And if that wasn't terrifying enough, an even stranger story is that of the Ellen Austin from 1881. While sailing through the Atlantic, the crew spotted another ship drifting silently. The ship appeared perfectly intact, but completely deserted. The captain observed it for 2 days, waiting for any movement or sign of life, but nothing happened. He finally sent some of his men on board to take control of the empty vessel, and for a while both ships sailed together normally, until a storm separated them. When Ellen Austin found the ship again, it was empty once more, and the crew members sent earlier had disappeared. The captain attempted the same operation again, sending a second team, but the exact same pattern repeated. Another storm, another separation, and once again no one was found on the deserted ship. The vessel remained intact, but its crew kept vanishing. When Ellen Austin returned to port, the owner was so disturbed by the story that he sold the ship, and it was later renamed Meta. Although it's a legendary tale, historians believe this story may have been exaggerated or even invented, as old reports are difficult to verify. Many such stories passed down through generations without solid evidence are classified as urban legends, and some researchers argue that the Bermuda Triangle mystery itself is influenced by similar storytelling patterns. To understand what might actually be behind these disappearances, many scientific theories have been proposed. One explanation involves Earth's magnetic field. The planet's magnetic north and true north are not the same location, and a compass points toward magnetic north, not geographic north. In some areas of the Earth, these two align, forming agonic lines, which can cause confusion for navigators. For the past few hundred years, one of these lines has passed through the Bermuda Triangle area. Another factor is that certain parts of the region have shallow waters with hidden sandbars and underwater ridges that older ships could easily crash into without realizing. The area is also one of the most hurricane-prone zones in the world. Florida, Cuba, and the surrounding waters frequently face massive storms, waterspouts, and sudden weather changes that can cause dangerous situations at sea and in the air. Another scientific idea involves methane hydrates, large frozen deposits of methane gas beneath the ocean floor. Under certain conditions, methane can erupt into the water, reducing water density and potentially causing a ship to sink rapidly. While this phenomenon is real, there is no confirmed evidence linking it to any Bermuda Triangle disappearance. But the most convincing explanation in the eyes of many experts comes from human psychology. There is a phenomenon known as the Baader-Meinhof effect or frequency illusion, which states that when you start noticing something, you begin seeing it everywhere, even if it has always been there. Once the Bermuda Triangle became famous, people paid extra attention to incidents in that area while ignoring similar incidents happening in other oceans. As a result, the triangle appeared more mysterious than it actually was. Investigations by journalists, researchers, and organizations like NOAA show that the number of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is not higher than in any other busy ocean region. The US Coast Guard does not recognize the area as unusually dangerous either. They explain that the heavy traffic, fast-moving Gulf Stream currents, and frequent hurricanes naturally increase the chances of accidents. In 2013, a detailed study by the World Wildlife Fund listed the world's 10 most dangerous waters for shipping, and the Bermuda Triangle did not appear on the list. And as for the fiery object Christopher Columbus saw, scientists believe it was simply a meteor falling into the ocean. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle seems far less supernatural than people imagine, and most mysteries can be explained by weather, navigation errors, technical failures, or psychological perception rather than something unknown.